welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. I'm Andrew Colvin, executive producer of this show. Hour 2 is kicking off now. We have a great guest for this. It's going to help make sense of the insanity of shutdowns and so much more, and that is James Girdusky. He's the host of a numbers game podcast, and he is also in charge of 1776 Project PAC. James Girdusky, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on, Andrew.
Yeah, great to see you. We also have Blake Neff here. I want to open this up to a larger conversation. But let's start with this shutdown fight. I mean, this is, okay, so there was a vote last night, and then all hell breaks loose in the Democrat caucus. They're freaking out because they feel like they had all this momentum in New Jersey, Virginia, and I want to get into New Jersey. You have a contrarian take on New Jersey that I want the audience to hear about. But so they think they've got the momentum. So why concede any points? Why give in? Why open the government back up? Which just strikes me as highly, highly cynical on 1,000 different levels. What are you making of this? Make sense of it for our audience, please.
Well, I think in part they didn't want to do this before the elections, right? I think that they wanted to keep the government shut down before the elections. I think that it helped juice their voter base for sure. Then I think that also when it comes to why did they go along with this shutdown is because people are really suffering. I mean, the flights were being canceled. People do need, people who are on food stamps do need food stamps. There were actual, and those are their constituents. Those are their voter base. So why wouldn't they do something for their voter base? And I think they got the vote on healthcare they're going to get. Who knows how it's going to go? It's a promissory vote. But then they have to refund the government again in January. So it's not like it's like they lost the fight for a million years. They get the fight again in 2 months. And I think that they'll get the healthcare vote and then they'll have the conversation. But ultimately, a large portion of the Senate Democrats are centrists, I guess, to sit there and say they're not part of the far left, which is why you see the far left on social media crying all day today.
Yeah, I mean, it strikes me though is that there was essentially a calculation by a lot of these far left members of the caucus, even in the media, and you see this. Sunny Hostin is basically saying, "Hey, we want Schumer out. He's out. We want to replace Schumer." So you're essentially, it feels almost like they're snatching defeat from the jaws of victory here because they were winning the messaging war. They had convinced a large percentage of at least their electorate, but maybe some squishy middles, that we were just wanting to starve little kids and take healthcare away from Americans. They were sort of winning on that, and now their freak out over reopening the government because they were never going to have the votes, Ryan. They were never going to get there. The caucus, the Republican caucus, was staying firm on these ACA subsidies. So essentially they were doing it for optics, but it's like the point is it's the most cynical reaction to it, and I think their reaction is giving Trump and the Republicans the upper hand here.
Well, go back to when the shutdown starts. What was the number one story going on in the political media? AOC potentially to challenge Schumer. And he needed to seem like he was a fighter. This is what the fight was over. It was over Schumer's political career and Schumer's political future. And I think that was a big part of it. I think Schumer really, and that's why Schumer voted against it. Schumer would never usually vote against a government spending bill. He usually always votes for this. It's to show that Schumer still is tough and Schumer should not be primaried. And they're all going to come after him. Ro Khanna has already come after him. As you said, Sunny Hostin. There's other people on the left saying Schumer has to go. And I think that that's really the tragedy of Schumer's life. He's been his entire life trying to get to this point. And the most I think he ever had is 51 Democratic senators to really do nothing with.
Yeah, it is. All right, so let's go back to this 50-year mortgage debate and kind of this Gen Z economic moonshot idea. We actually talked about in hour 1, and we got inundated by emails across generations about what they thought of it. I'll be honest. I think, Blake, you would agree. It was more positive than we were expecting. People are actually a little bit more positive on this idea, at least in our audience, than what you would see on like Twitter X discussion. Blake, I don't know.
I was definitely expecting more negativity on it, and then I got a lot of people who said they liked the idea.
Yeah, they basically are seeing in a very pragmatic way how people could use it to get into the market from the first place, and then refinance or use it to trade up to a home. So people are seeing flexibility. They're seeing opportunity, being pragmatists about it. Our original take this morning was that it reeks of debt slavery. It's not addressing the underlying root causes. It's just sort of like covering over them, papering over them. Ryan James Girdusky, make sense of that for us. What's your take?
Yeah, I kind of agree that it's an entrance to the marketplace. I don't hate it because it's not like you have to do it, right? You're not forced to. So you could still do a 30-year loan. It's not like they're getting rid of the 30-year loan. And I think for a lot of people is that try to get in for lower rates and then readjust over time. But the American public is extremely fickle. We want solutions to take care of itself within 6 months. I mean, it's almost like we almost have like a sitcom show brain. Like the whole episode has to have a happy ending within 28 minutes. Otherwise, we don't really want to be part of it. So we would like a very short-term, answer to this. And the problem is the root cause of our economy, the real stressors of it right now for everyday people, it's been happening for at least the 5 years, at least since COVID. A lot of these problems have been taking place. If you want to talk about the deficit and talk about other things, it's going on way longer, right? Trade imbalances way, way longer. But right now, the insustainability of life for working class people, and especially for Gen Z, has been going on for 5 years. You can't fix the whole thing in the 9 months that Trump has been president, right? And I know at times it doesn't seem like he's been paying attention to it because there's been other high-profile things, the wars in the Middle East and trying to solve Ukraine and other stuff. But I think that given what is the problem, right, for the everyday life, it's a question of how do I make it better in the immediate, and that's a good answer. It's a Band-Aid. It's not the full solution, but I don't hate it.
All right, so I'm gonna say a provocative statement, and I want both of you to react to it. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm saying this is a critique that has been leveled against this administration. And I've heard it from both sides, actually. I had a conversation this morning from somebody on the left that alleged this, which doesn't surprise me, but hearing it over the weekend from the right. President Trump's economic populism is fake. Prove me wrong. Do you guys agree or do you disagree? Blake, you can go first because Ryan's thinking right now. I can see him.
I mean, he's definitely done some pretty populist things. I mean, the tariffs are a populist measure,
right?
Clearly. Like, he's done them for a populist objective to bring manufacturing back to America. And, I mean, even the 50-year mortgage, this is intended as a populist thing, and it might be more popular than I expected it to be.
He's talking about the $2,000 tariff.
The $2,000 tariff. That I don't like. That is...
That's not your cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. You'd rather pay down debts.
I'd rather not take it. And it feels like...
I agree,
I almost suspect some of it is he's trying to, maybe politically pressure the Supreme Court because he can be like, well, I'd have to take $2,000 back from everyone if the tariffs get repealed. And it's also just, we saw during COVID. We had a lot of stimulus payments during COVID, and it just drove an inflationary spike.
Get me those stimmies.
Yeah, the stimmies.
Give me those stimmies.
It's like, it's sort of like, oh, give me one more hit of cocaine or something.
Right.
It's in the end, we are addicted to cheap money, and the cure for that is not more cheap money. But coming down from that, this is what the hard point of a lot of populism is. It is painful to make good economic decisions. Long term, it is very healthy, but especially because of how addicted America's gotten to our current pattern, it will be hard to break that pattern, and possibly even politically impossible. And that's really tough.
1 minute. Ryan James Girdusky, your take.
I think that it has been a mixed bag, right? The American right is obsessed with free market capitalism, and so he's sticking to things like the tax cuts on the wealthy that I think if he would have gotten rid of those, that it would have been much more populist. But I think that at the same exact time, he's inarguably done populist things. I think it's a mixed bag. It's hard to sit there and say he's only done one or only done the other. He has to work within the Congress. He has to work within the Senate. I know that I went to Capitol Hill right before the tax cut votes were coming up, and I said, here's a poll that I've done with some very smart people. Least popular thing were tax cuts for millionaires. Most popular thing, no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips. They really did not like that answer. So I think that given
Wait, say that again, Ryan. What was the most popular?
The most popular thing was no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, overwhelmingly by voters. Right. Least popular, tax cuts for millionaires. I brought that to the Republicans in Congress in the committee, and they were not really feeling that information.
All right, we're going to continue on with Ryan James Girdusky in just 1 second. I'm going to tell you about one of our partners on the show, and that is Good Ranchers, one of my favorite products in the world because I love barbecuing. All Good Ranchers meat is 100% American, raised on local farms and ranches and delivered right to your door, and the quality is genuinely, truly incredible. I'm a subscriber, and the benefits are amazing. You get $25 off every box, free shipping, and a free gift in every order for life. I've gotten their chicken wings, or chicken thighs, bacon, Italian sausage. And guess what? You get to switch out your free gift each month to try something new, see if you want to add that to your future orders. And if you're worried about committing to a subscription, don't be. You can pause, delay, or cancel if you're traveling or just busy. Super simple, doesn't lock you in. Holidays are right around the corner, so order by December 1st. Use the code KIRK to get an extra $100 off your first 3 orders. That is their best offer ever. So go to goodranchers.com, goodranchers.com. We'll be right back.